Hey, hello, welcome to this video here from Faceless guy. Welcome back. It's been a while, I guess, but since the last time, lots of stuff has happened. As for example, today on the 21st of the September 2025, the UK recognized Palestine. In a moment, I will watch the speech from Keir Starmer. I won't comment directly during the speech, but after the speech, I have something to say. And also, now that I have already watched it, it's very wishy-washy. It clearly states some things which are good, and it is also very weak in other spots and durations. But either way, you will see it in a moment. It's roughly 10 minutes or so, or 8 or 7. As of September 2025, the state of Palestine was recognized as a sovereign state by 150 of the 193 member states of the United Nations, or just over 78% of all UN members. It has been a non-member observer state of the United Nations General Assembly since November 12, 2012. This limited status is largely due to the fact that the United States, a permanent member of the US Security Council with veto power, has consistently used its veto to threaten or threatened to do so to block Palestine's full UN membership. Great. Wonderful, US. You're doing a great job for peace in the region. I mean, the same good job as you do when you bomb Yemen or bomb other regions. So, anyway, here we have the map, which is the more interesting part. Just a few hours ago, like 2 or 3 hours ago, the UK, Canada, and Australia were light green, states that have announced their impending recognition of Palestine, but now they're dark green. They have already recognized Palestine now. So, that's wonderful, that's great, that's a big step forward. I think one of the two last countries which will ever recognize Palestine is my home fucking country, Germany, and the US. And of course Israel. Okay. In probably this order. First Germany, or third last Germany, second last US, and last Israel. And I guess all other member states come first because my home country is a firm partner in this endeavor. It is such a shame to be a German in these days. I have to be very careful in what way, in what I say, what I don't say not, but what I say. I have to be very careful when I speak about Israel because my country is firmly committed to the security of Israel, and free speech is not really such a big thing if it's about Israel here in Germany. I'm not even sure if it is worse in the US or not. I think it is in the US it's still better than in Germany, but yeah, maybe the US also comes close soon with this president they have right now. Trump is, he is funny, absolutely he's funny, but he's a terrible president. So, a terrible president, but a funny guy. But the dangerous part is that he is like the leader of one of the most powerful countries in the world. If he would just be like a dude on TV, I would laugh about him and he would be amusing and funny and whatever. But yeah, he is the second, third, first, I don't know, most powerful guy in the world. And that's definitely not good for the world. My current one of my current only hopes is that China can contain him somewhat, which at least for themselves I'm not sure how much China cares about other countries, but maybe to a degree they can contain the US and we also profit from this in a certain way. Maybe I hope so. Anyway, you will see this my video in a moment. Which is already recorded now, which I will cut after this one, and then I will make another smaller video at the end, where I also again speak about what I think, what should be done. I think, okay, I will talk about this in the like outro small video. So now have fun with Keir Starmer. Hi, hello and welcome to Faceless Guy. We live through history right now, because finally, after 80 years, I think roughly 80 years, the UK, Canada, and Australia recognized the state of Palestine.
Connected hostages, it says the UK must understand that there can be no peaceful future for either Palestinians or Israelis whilst Hamas and our hostage relatives remain in Gaza. Jack, stay with me. We can now bring you the full video statement that Keir Starmer has just posted on social media. Here is what the Prime Minister said.
In the face of the growing horror in the Middle East, we are acting to keep alive the possibility of peace and a two-state solution. That means a safe and secure Israel alongside a viable Palestinian state. At the moment, we have neither. Ordinary people, Israeli and Palestinian, deserve to live in peace, to try to rebuild their lives free from violence and suffering. That's what the British people desperately want to see. Yet, almost 2 years after the barbaric attacks of October the 7th, hostages are still held by the terrorists of Hamas. Recent images show the hostages suffering and emaciated. Hamas even refuse to release all the bodies of the dead. I have met British families of the hostages. I see the torture that they endure each and every day, pain that strikes deep in people's hearts across Israel and here in the United Kingdom. The hostages must be released immediately, and we will keep fighting to bring them home. Let's be frank. Hamas is a brutal terror organisation. Our call for a genuine two-state solution is the exact opposite of their hateful vision. So we are clear. This solution is not a reward for Hamas because it means Hamas can have no future, no role in government, no role in security. We have already prescribed and sanctioned Hamas, and we will go further. I have directed work to sanction other Hamas figures in the coming weeks. Meanwhile, the man-made humanitarian crisis in Gaza reaches new depths. The Israeli government's relentless and increasing bombardment of Gaza, the offensive of recent weeks, the starvation and devastation are utterly intolerable. Tens of thousands have been killed, including thousands as they tried to collect food and water. This death and destruction horrifies all of us. It must end. We have evacuated the first group of sick and injured children to the United Kingdom to be treated by the NHS, and we continue to increase our humanitarian support. But still, nowhere near enough aid is getting through. We call again on the Israeli government to lift the unacceptable restrictions at the border, stop these cruel tactics, and let the aid surge in. With the actions of Hamas, the Israeli government escalating the conflict, and settlement building being accelerated in the West Bank, the hope of a two-state solution is fading. But we cannot let that light go out. That is why we are building consensus with leaders in the region and beyond around our framework for peace. This is a practical plan to bring people together behind a common vision and a series of steps, including the reform of the Palestinian Authority, that takes us from a ceasefire in Gaza to negotiations on a two-state solution. We will keep driving this forward. As part of this effort, I set out in July the terms upon which we would act in line with our manifesto to recognise Palestinian statehood. That moment has now arrived. So today, to revive the hope of peace and a two-state solution, I state clearly, as Prime Minister of this great country, that the United Kingdom formally recognises the State of Palestine. We recognised the State of Israel more than 75 years ago as a homeland for the Jewish people. Today, we join over 150 countries who recognise a Palestinian state also. A pledge to the Palestinian and Israeli people that there can be a better future. I know the strength of feeling that this conflict provokes. We have seen it on our streets, in our schools, in conversations we've had with friends and family. It has created division. Some have used it to stoke hatred and fear, but that solves nothing. Not only must we reject hate, we must redouble our efforts to combat hatred in all its forms. We must channel our efforts, united together in hope, behind the peaceful future that we want to see. The release of the hostages, an end to the violence, an end to the suffering, and a shift back towards a two-state solution as the best hope for peace and security for all sides.
So that was the video statement from Sir Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, confirming that the UK is formally recognising a Palestinian state, along in the last half an hour with Canada and Australia. He said there that the reason was to revive a two-state solution. He also clearly said that it was not a reward for Hamas, and he said that the death and destruction horrifies all of us. Well, David Lammy, the Justice Secretary and Deputy Prime Minister, earlier insisted that recognising Palestinian statehood was the right thing to do. He was speaking to my colleague Laura Kunsberg, who began by asking him for one tangible difference that the move would make to the situation on the ground in Gaza.
This is something that certainly the Palestinian Authority have been calling for some significant time. And I think a lot of that is wrapped up in hope. Will this feed children? No, it won't. That's down to humanitarian aid. Will this free hostages? That must be down to a ceasefire. But does this mean that you get or hold out for that two-state solution and stand by the Palestinian cause being a just cause? Well, that was the determination that I and the Prime Minister made at the end of July, when, yes, we urged that ceasefire, and yes, we urged that process, and the Prime Minister will set out the position later on today, making a judgment as to whether those conditions have been met.
But as you've just admitted, it is a diplomatic and a political gesture that you hope may make a difference in the time to come. What it has already done is give a propaganda victory, what Hamas, a terror group, sees as a propaganda victory. They say this is one of the fruits of October the 7th. Why give any bit of good news to that group?
Okay, I had to restrain myself very much not to interrupt Keir Starmer. I mean, it is good that they recognize Palestine, but they should have done it like 75 years ago. I just asked ChatGPT because I wasn't sure when Israel was recognized by the UK. It was on the 28th of April 1950. And today, on the 21st of September 2025, they recognized Palestine. So, 75 years, 4 months, and 24 days later. So, they should have done it like on the same day as they recognized Israel in 1950. In a good word. But whatever. better late than never. So, the UK recognized Palestine, and the Palestinian people cannot choose their own leaders. They are forced to not be able to choose Hamas if they want to. That's undemocratic, but whatever. Even if Hamas is forcefully removed as a possibility for the Palestinian people to choose from, it doesn't matter. I think it's wrong for the same reasons as Noam Finkelstein explains this very well. I think that it's up to the people of Palestine to choose their own leaders, but it doesn't matter. The UK recognized Palestine 75 years, 4 months and 24 days too late, but they finally did so. The current Israeli government is working methodically to prevent the prospect of a Palestinian state from ever being established. It has pursued an unrelenting policy of settlement expansion in the West Bank, which is illegal under international law. Its sustained assault in Gaza has killed tens of thousands of civilians, displaced well over 1 million people, and caused devastating and preventable famine in violation of international law. It is now the avowed policy of the current Israeli government that there will be no Palestinian state. It is in this context that Canada recognizes the state of Palestine and offers a partnership in building the promise of a peaceful future for both the state of Palestine and the state of Israel. Canada does so as a part of a coordinated international effort to preserve this possibility of a two-state solution, while Canada is under no illusion that this recognition is Panaka. This recognition is firmly aligned with the principle of self-determination and fundamental human rights reflected in the United Nations Charter and the consistent policy of Canada for generations. Australia recognized Palestine state. I have no role in Palestine. Okay, that's good. Okay. Hi, hello and welcome to the small outro video here from this longer video about the recognition of Palestine by the UK, Australia and Canada. At the end of the intro video I spoke about like something what I think would be best. I think the best way forward, the best solution would be a one-state solution. A secular state, not a Jewish state, not a Muslim state, a secular state. Like France, like Germany, like other European countries. A secular state. A right to return for all Palestinian refugees which were expelled in 1948, 1967, and throughout the rest of the last 75, 80 years. So what I want is a peaceful coexistence of the Israeli people and the Palestinian people in all of historic Palestine, all of Israel. So like a merger between the Israeli nation state, which already exists since 1948, 1950, whatever, and the Palestinian state, namely the West Bank, East Jerusalem, and the Gaza Strip. So a unified nation state where all people live peacefully together. And yes, equal rights for everyone. So no separate streets for Palestinians. No neighborhoods where certain people can't live, namely Palestinian people. And yes, equal rights, a secular state, one-state solution. I think it is far more likely to work in the long term than a two-state solution. Because if you really are committed to a two-state solution, you have to violently, probably, remove over 500,000, I think 750,000 Israeli settlers from the West Bank. And I think mostly violently, because they are very committed to their ambitions of settling in this region. So you have probably to be very brutal and violently remove those settlers from the West Bank. 750,000 people. Then you have to take away all of the settlements, which are anyway illegal under current international law. And that's, I think, very, very difficult to do. Otherwise, the recognition of Palestine right now from this three nation states, Canada, Australia, and the UK, is something good. It's a step forward. I think France, Portugal, Luxembourg, Malta, San Marino, I hope I don't forget anyone, will do so soon as well. Belgium already recognized Palestine. And the Netherlands, I think, were on the map I saw earlier on Wikipedia, also listed as a different colors than grey. Maybe they also plan to recognize Palestine soon. I think, sadly, Germany will be one of the last countries, maybe even the third last country after the US and Israel, before the US and Israel, and it's such a shame. It's so sad. But any small step counts. So continue pressure your politicians, your local politicians, pressure anyone and everyone you can. If you are if you work in a harbor, as a dock, if you are a dock worker, if you work somewhere where you yourself can do something to do something good for Palestine, then do it. Don't hold back. Sometimes you may even you may even have to make a decision whether to do something which is like, I mean, you have to decide yourself what you can do and how much you can do, but do anything you can to support Palestine. That's all I say. Thank you very much. Free Palestine.